And there came a time known as the third millennium, a time when the people of the earth were ravaged by disease, pestilence, and poisons. A time when the horsemen of the apocalypse ran the multinational corporations. A time when America's citizens were waking up to a future of no money and no jobs. A time when a special man came forward, a man that your American taskmasters did not want you to see or hear, a man whom they took prisoner and hid away, a man whose name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. For telling people the truth, Yahweh ben Yahweh was taken prisoner by the minions of darkness. For giving people hope, Yahweh ben Yahweh was led away to Golgotha. This is the continuing story of the past and of the future, about good and about evil, about your life and what it will become. A story that tells why the so-called black man of America had to suffer for over 400 years. A story of what will happen to the so-called black man if he returns to the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of God YAHWEH. Olam shall YAHWEH. The universe of YAHWEH. Brought to you by the nation of YAHWEH. Working for you and your future.
Good or evil, life or death. This is your choice in this, the year 6001, the year of judgment. Shalom and welcome to the Universe of Yahweh. My name is Josiah Israel and I am your host. For over 7 years now, we have been discussing some of the things the Bible said would occur in the day of judgment. We warned you that the weather was going to change and that the powerful forces of nature were going to bring terrible destruction upon America and the world, and that it was going to get worse and worse and worse, and it has. We alerted you that violence in the public schools was going to increase, and it has. We showed you in the scriptures that forewarned of wickedness in high places, and we are witnessing today gross misconduct and serious crimes being committed by some of our highest elected officials. What lies ahead for America and the world is nothing less than the proliferation of deadly diseases and plagues as foretold in the Bible. But there is hope. The Bible tells us that at the end the Messiah would be revealed, and at that time he would save the righteous from this impending destruction. That one, the Messiah, is Yahweh ben Yahweh. So we invite you to join us in the Universe of Yahweh, featuring the commandments of Yahweh and the Messiah revealed. First, the commandments of Yahweh.
For 6,000 years, we have been suffering at the hands of rulers who transgress the laws of YAHWEH and teach all people throughout the earth to transgress the laws of YAHWEH. In order to have peace, love, and harmony upon the earth, we must return to keeping the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of YAHWEH. All of us have been taught that the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes in the Old Testament Bible do not count today. In this series, we will show you that the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes in the Old Testament Bible do count, and that if we govern our lives according to these commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of God YAHWEH, then we will have peace and goodwill upon the earth forever. We invite you to study along with us. However, in order to do so, you must have the following tools: a King James Version of the Bible, several dictionaries, the New Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, a set of encyclopedias, Hebrew and Greek lexicons, a thesaurus, and a synonym finder.
Shalom, my name is Ben Kayo Bethel Yisrael. We shall continue our discussion of the commandments and their relationship to the fact that to dress the Garden of Eden was the first commandment ever given to man, Adam. Last week, we continued our discussion of the word dress. We reminded you that dress comes from the Hebrew word abad, and that another meaning of the word dress is worshiper. We looked at worshiper from another point of view and verified that the word worshiper is synonymous to celebrant. Celebrant was defined as a person who celebrates. The word celebrate was defined as to observe a day or commemorate an event with ceremonies. We carefully translated into ordinary expressions the words observe, commemorate, event, and ceremony. We told you that the word observe means to obey, comply with, or conform to as a law. Commemorate was defined as to honor the memory of by some observance. Event was characterized as the outcome of anything. Outcome was defined as a final product. We asserted from these definitions that to dress the Garden of Eden from the word worshiper means that Yahweh commanded Adam to obey, comply with, or conform to a day as a law, and to honor the memory of a final product by some observance with ceremonies. It was established that ceremony is a formal act or set of formal acts established by authority as proper to a special occasion. We affirm that the word formal means following strict rules. We read Genesis chapter 2, verse 1, and Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, and learned that the special occasion or event that Adam was commanded to honor the memory of Yahweh was the seventh day. Why? Because on the seventh day, Yahweh rested from all his work which he had created and made. Therefore, the word worshiper, as it relates to dress, set forth the fact that Yahweh commanded Adam to obey, comply with, or conform to as law the observance of the seventh day as a day of rest, to observe and to honor the memory of Yahweh for all his work, his creation, which he, Yahweh, created and made. Today, we will continue to discuss dress from the perspective of worshiper and what Adam, his descendants, and all the families of the earth are commanded to do in relationship to the seventh day. What is so significant about the seventh day? The answer is found in Exodus chapter 20, verse 10. Let us open the Bible and read what it says. And it reads, "But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates." The seventh day is significant because it is the Sabbath of Yahweh. The Sabbath is such a memorable day to Yahweh that no one is to work on the Sabbath of Yahweh. Since this is the case, then let us find out what the people of the earth are to do on the Sabbath of Yahweh. Stated in the New Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible, copyright 1990, in the Hebrew and Chaldee Dictionary section on page 112, Sabbath in Hebrew is spelled from right to left, Shin Beit Thav, and it is pronounced Shabbat. Sabbath in Hebrew means celebrate. As we can see from the word Sabbath, Yahweh commanded Adam, his descendants, and all the families of the earth to celebrate on the day of Yahweh. What does this mean? Documented in the Synonym Finder by J.I. Rodale, copyright 1978, on page 154, celebrate is synonymous to hallow. According to Webster's Ninth New Collegiate Dictionary, copyright 1989, on page 548, hallow is defined as to make holy or set apart for holy use, to respect greatly. On page 576, holy means devoted entirely to the deity. Deity is defined as God, supreme being. Thus Yahweh commanded Adam, his descendants, and all the families of the earth to make the Sabbath of Yahweh a day that is devoted entirely to reflecting upon him, the supreme being, for all his work, his creation. In addition, on the Sabbath of Yahweh, the people of the earth are commanded to show great respect to Yahweh by observing and setting apart the seventh day to the exclusive honor of Yahweh for all his magnificent work which he created and made. Celebrating the Sabbath is very special to Yahweh, so much so that he blessed and hallowed the Sabbath day, according to Exodus chapter 20, verse 11, which reads, "For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it." Yahweh blessed and hallowed the seventh day. Blessed means to confer prosperity or happiness upon. Hallowed means revered. Yahweh will confer prosperity and happiness upon us when we revere the seventh day as the Sabbath of Yahweh. Devoting the Sabbath entirely to the honor of Yahweh is a sign between Yahweh and you, to show that you know that Yahweh is your God, according to Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 19 and 20, which reads, "I am Yahweh, your God. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and hallow my Sabbaths, and they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am Yahweh, your God." Keeping the Sabbath is a sign between only Yahweh and you. And if you would like to start keeping the Sabbath of Yahweh according to the Holy Bible, then order your free copy of the Shabbat Home Study Guide today from Peace Foundation, P.O. Box 1768, Seguin, Texas 78155. In summary, the word worshiper, as it relates to dress, sets forth the fact that Yahweh commanded Adam, his descendants, and all the families of the earth to observe the seventh day as the Sabbath of Yahweh, to honor the memory of him for all his work which he, Yahweh, created and made. Next week, we will continue to discuss dress from the perspective of worshiper and how to identify the seventh day. I bear witness to you today that the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Mahdi is here.
I bear witness to you today that Shiloh is here.
I bear witness to you today that the great light is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, Architect of the Universe, is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Enlightened One is here.
I bear witness to you today that the one all religions have been speaking of for almost 6,000 years is here. Thank you for listening, and join us next week as we continue our discussion on the commandments of Yahweh.
Shalom. Welcome to Exodus. Release our God to us. It was prophesied that when the Son of Man appears, there would be a time of great and terrible natural disasters. This is Judgment Day, and YAHWEH is plaguing and judging this world. His judgment in America is more severe because this proud country is persecuting and holding his son, YAHWEH Beit Nun Sofit YAHWEH, in prison for crimes he did not commit, and refuses to let him go. And for this reason, YAHWEH, the God of the Bible, is bombarding America with his snowstorms, ice storms, blizzards, and Arctic cold weather. Headline: Old Man Winter chills the Lone Star State. A bone-chilling winter storm dropped ice, sleet, and snow across Texas, canceling hundreds of flights and closed highways, schools, and businesses. Headline: Bitter cold plague much of USA. Cold, snow, and freezing rain forced many schools to close. In North Dakota, cattlemen watch helplessly as their cattle drop dead from the cold. Headline: High winds and cold paralyzes the Midwest. Winter's deadly grip has much of the U.S. iced by temperatures below zero. Homeless shelters are at capacity, and it is reported that people are running out of food and fuel. Let us read who causes this in Psalm chapter 147, verses 16 and 17. YAHWEH giveth snow like wool. He scattered the frost like ashes. YAHWEH casteth forth his ice like morsels. Who can stand before his cold? How much more of this freezing cold weather can we take? Is there some way to stop it all? Of course there is. And YAHWEH Beit Nun Sofit YAHWEH holds the key. However, until the release of YAHWEH Beit Nun Sofit YAHWEH, the present course of natural disasters worldwide shall continue to get worse and worse and worse. Shalom, and we'll see you next week on Exodus. Release our God to us.
Who is worthy? Who is worthy to open the book? Who is worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. At the end of time of evil rule, the Anointed One, the Messiah, shall appear. In 1979, Yahweh Ben Yahweh came to Miami and became the spiritual leader and founder of the Nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty, in 7 years he guided the nation to amass a $250 million empire. Under his direction, the Nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, and supporters in over 1,300 cities within the U.S. and 16 foreign countries. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is bringing about changes in the lives of individuals and is giving the world the keys to success in life, politically, economically, educationally, socially, and spiritually.
Those of us who repent for breaking the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh are the children of the prophets, and the covenant which Yahweh made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, "And in your seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed." Unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel first, Yahweh having raised up his son, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, sent him to bless the families of the earth, in turning away every one of us from our iniquities, lawlessness, and abominations, as well as from breaking the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of Yahweh. Acts chapter 3, verses 25 and 26. For the promise of Yahweh is unto us, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and to our children, and to all the families that are afar off, even as many as Yahweh our God shall call. Acts chapter 2, verse 39. The people of Israel are Hebrew Israelites, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of Yahweh, and the promises, whose are the fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and of whom as concerning the flesh Christ, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, came, who is over all. Yahweh blessed forever. Amen. Romans chapter 9, verses 4 through 5. Be alert to the fact that they are not all Israel, which are of Israel, according to the flesh. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham, according to the flesh. Are they all children? But in Isaac shall the blessed seed be called. This is clear proof that they all which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Yahweh, but the children of the promise, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are counted the seed. Romans chapter 9, verses 6 through 8.
Now we say that Yahweh Ben Yahweh is a minister of the circumcision for the truth of Yahweh, to confirm the promises made unto the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Romans chapter 15, verse 8. There is no reason to be jealous of the lost sheep of the house of Israel, for we are all the children of Yahweh by faith and obedience in Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Galatians chapter 3, verse 26. Yahweh said that he would bless him that blessed Abraham, and curse him that curseth Abraham. For it is in Abraham that all families of the earth shall be blessed. Genesis chapter 12, verse 3.
remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
There is no reason for anyone to be jealous of the lost sheep of the house of Israel. For all who have faith and obedience in Yahweh ben Yahweh are the children of Yahweh. For our blessings come when we keep the divine laws of Yahweh. Our Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, has come preaching the gospel to all the families of the earth, which is the good news, saying, the kingdom of Yahweh, heaven, is at hand. Thank you for joining us in the universe of Yahweh. And now we'd like to invite all of you to pray with us as we turn to the east with outstretched hands and say a prayer to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Come, let us pray. Tefillah, Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteaka, Yase Razonka, Kiva Shemayim Kain Ba'aretz, Et Lekum Kukenu, Tain La Nu Hayom, Uslak La Nu, All Kati Enu, Ki Moshe Sol Kim, Gamanaknu, La Koteom La Nu, Veal Tefienu, La De Nisayom, Kim Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamumlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tiferet, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. Selah. Praise Yahweh, and always remember that the Father, Yahweh, and his Son, Yahweh ben Yahweh, love you, and your host loves you too. Shalom Aleichem.
To order the companion book to the series, The Messiah Revealed, call 1-800-967-PEACE. That's 1-800-967-7337. And when you call, ask about the special discount on The Sower of Good Seeds by Yahweh ben Yahweh. Videos of this program are available. When ordering, please refer to the program number on the screen.
You can now access the divine mind of Yahweh ben Yahweh on the internet at the address on the screen.